Welcome back. I think that's more fitting to say welcome back, and if it's your first time, welcome. Um, this is for a energy update for the new moon in Cancer and the partial solar eclipse Thursday, July 12th, Friday, July 13th. It was my intention to do this last night, but due to availability, I was unable to actually do any recordings, but I did take notes on some of the information that came through in regards to this new moon in Cancer, this partial solar eclipse, and I want to make it clear that this is not for everyone. This is for those who it resonates with, or those who are part of my soul group. And this is not to create division or anything, but some messages are for you, some are not. Or how's that? Some messages are for some. Yeah, let's just keep it there. So, just in my experience, like a lot of time messages comes through and experiences like throughout the day. I'm living life, but I tend to reflect a lot and meditate a lot. Not your regular type of meditation, but it's just I reflect a lot. I go within, and I'm very aware of my surroundings. So incident happened yesterday with my son. The day before, his dad bought him a watch, and it was a pretty cool watch, and it was a spinner watch. Like the top of it spins, and it has lights, so when it spins you see like the lights or whatever, but the top part flips up from the actual watch itself. So the top part, yesterday he was playing with it, and his dad already told him not to break it, but him being him, he ended up breaking it. And like the way that it was broke, I could put the top back on, but it was broke. Like the plastic that held it on the bar so it could flip, it was damaged. So he's crying, fix it, mommy. I'm like, I can't fix it, it's broke. And then I told him, Naeem, some things you just can't fix once they're broke. And that just like hit my spirit really, really, really strong yesterday. After a while, just looking at it, I kind of snapped it back on the bar, but it was still broken. So, that plastic was, damaged, but, we could repair it, but it wasn't like its original state. So, I just like that, just like spirit was like, take note of this moment, and what dropped in my spirit at the time was, you can't fix everything and expect for it to be the same. And I feel like this may be a theme for the new moon in Cancer and the partial solar eclipse, only because of some of the other trends that I've been noticing within myself. Some of the notes that I decided to take yesterday, I know with me there's been like, for maybe I would say for about, it's been a minute, But if I could put a time frame on it, 3 to 4 weeks of very intense healing and releasing and purging. It's probably been a little bit longer, but for the most part, 3 to 4 weeks of very intense purging and being triggered quickly and quickly getting over it. So it's been like very high tidal waves of very intense emotions, like going up and down. You're like having ups and downs, and but being able to rapidly move through them and recover. So I feel like, in our innocent state, we are pure, we're innocent, we are our true authentic selves. But our environment, society tends to be very impressionable, especially at a young age, or even now, when it comes to being a certain type of way and behaving a certain type of way, doing certain things, stereotypes. Women should be this way, man should be that way. Us as a collective, we are purging this. We're purging gender roles. We're purging, certain beliefs, limiting beliefs at that, when it comes to, who we are, what we should be, and, our authentic self. Like I said, these things tend to shape who we are now, and a lot of us. But I know for those in this group, I would say, which are way showers, who may be twin flames, way showers, anyone on this ascension path in this particular wave, I feel like with those intense emotions emerging and being purged, what we're faced with right now at this particular junction, and how the planets are in line, and the astrology and the evolution and everything else, where we are right now, a lot of people may feel, I know me in particular, I have been feeling stuck, not knowing exactly what to do, how to do it. It's like I almost lost a sense of myself, sense of identity during this process. And maybe, some of you can relate, because in this whole process, since, I've started my pathway towards ascension and really being aware of it, it's a lot of things that I had to forget or disregard or go against when it came to personal growth, when it came to spiritual growth. I started trying out, I wouldn't say trying out different roles, but it was almost like a calibrating or a recalibrating that was taking place. A lot of things had to come up when it comes to relationships, when it comes to work. Those have been like the two most intense areas for me, even family. Everything that I guess I can, form an attachment to or gain a sense of self from. A lot of people tend to base their self-worth on their relationships, on their family, on their their roles as, either parent, sister, whatever roles they play, when it comes to family, relationships, and careers and work. And in retrospect, all those different things that, especially during this little time frame, this ascension, I've noticed that I didn't necessarily find a sense of who I was in those things. And because I was not living up to expectations and standards when it came to, especially career-wise, work-wise, it has made me become very aware of how I value myself. I haven't had steady work in the longest time, ever since, in all honesty, ever since I've met my twin flame. For whatever reason, like, if anyone has heard any of my recordings or, any of my videos, you will know that, like, work has been an issue since I met my twin flame. Not being able to find work, no matter how hard I try, not being able to find successful work that, I felt would validate me. For example, I feel that I should be working in my field, which is the medical field, but it's been a challenge, especially with my twin flame. Now, it's been moments where me and my twin flame were off and on, and that's how a twin flame relationship is. But the moment that I wasn't with my twin flame, here it is. I'm in the medical field, doing well, and it was easy, like interviews, breezes. I gained a sense of worth from that. But I base my worth on that, and I feel that's just an example of what may be coming up for you. Not feeling worthy, not feeling beautiful. Like, I've heard that some people may have issues with their self-esteem, issues with their appearance. This has also been an issue for me, being that work has been so limited for me. I have not been able to keep up with my appearance as I would like. I took pride, in all honesty, in my unique style, having a style, being able to primp, things that women love to do. But in this time frame, that also has I wouldn't say it went downhill, but my perspectives have changed on that. Like, it had no choice but to change. Like, it was almost like a riches to rags story. Not saying that I was rich, but I carried myself a certain type of way. Honestly, I used to love smelling good, having my hair nice, like, even if it meant for me to do it myself, but I had the funds to do it myself. I'm very creative. I was able to pour into a lot of my passions, and during this process I have been able to pour into my passions as well, but not into myself per se. And I think that's what's coming up for a lot of people, not really necessarily pouring into the temporal things, because our bodies, unless you claim it, our bodies are, only temporary. Our physical bodies are only temporary. They grow old, So, I've been able to pour into those passions, or those, creative aspects of myself, instead of, the actual physical like I wanted. So, just with the change of perspectives, understanding understand or understand, now. And I feel like this is what this eclipse is, getting everybody into a place of really being aware of what really matters the most, what values you have, what's your true values, so it's been like a struggle. It was a struggle and a challenge, I would say, in all honesty, of actually seeing it that way. And I'm just now seeing it that way, to be honest with you. Like in this moment, like just me speaking, sometimes talking, it helps for you to realize certain things about yourself. So connect with those that you can speak with, journal, record memoirs, do a lot of self-reflection. And I'm not saying you have to, but it helps. It helps. That's all I can say. It helps. I'm not going to say do it, but it helps. So reeling it back in, some of the issues that's coming up at this particular moment, at this, juncture, is undervaluing self, self-worth issues, self-acceptance, all dealing with self, because our reality is a reflection of our beliefs about ourselves. For example, in relationships, especially if you have relationship problems at the moment, this is the perfect opportunity as to be used as a learning lesson to break the cycle from, repeated patterns, especially if you're noticing repeated patterns in your life. If you notice repeated patterns in your life, take note of that, because that is the universe flag. Like, it's an opportunity to see that window and find a way of escape. And sometimes you have to do things differently, because if you do the same things over and over again, you can expect the same results. So a lot of people are seeing like a mirroring effect. Take notice of some things that you may have went through already in the past. Take notice of that. So that's like that's key right now. This is like some of the issues that the collective is experiencing. The mirroring of their beliefs of themselves. Example, if you feel like for example, this is like always the easy example. If you feel that men are going to cheat on you, and this is something heavily ingrained in your brain, you're going to keep experiencing that. And you might notice in your current situation, things going completely left. Like, what happened? I thought things were good. But, now where we are in consciousness, the mind is so powerful that, fear gets in the way and it tricks you. Fear is just an illusion. This world is an illusion. And when we have embedded fear programming, certain programs tend to repeat over and over. And, you have to be able to take notice of that and break that pattern. Because once you get control of your mind and, face your fears, whatever that is for you, you own that. You own your fear. And fear can no longer control you. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful video that is so subliminal is XXX Tentacion's Sad. And if you have not seen that video, just, regardless if, you're not really rap genre type of person, just check out the video, because the video has such a strong message. This guy crossed over, it's controversy with that, but crossed over maybe a week or two ago, and a couple of days after his crossing, he came out with a video. A video was released with one of his top tracks, and ironically, he was battling himself, in that video. And I just think that, a lot of people should watch that video. It's inspiring, and it gets you to think, like, it's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to your shadow side. Once you face your shadow side, instead of fighting it physically, beating yourself up, use the power of your mind to conquer it and lay it to rest. So, so a lot of people at this particular time are living beneath their potential. A message that came through is you are so much more than what you are portraying to the world and those around you. There's nothing to fix. You're perfect. And that almost sounds contradictory to what was said in the beginning. You can't fix everything and expect for it to be the same. That's true. When you try to fix it, and this is another point I want to make. When you try to fix it, you can't fix it like it will be in its original state, because here it is, we have something that's man-made, but when it comes to our Creator, He made us perfect, and we have to know that there are no mistakes. Regardless of what you go through in life, there are no mistakes. Everything is perfect. Even like the terrible, terrible, terrible things that has happened and you still survive, that was all a part of the perfect plan as well, because you kind of become a stronger person because of that, or you survived, or whatever the case may be. So, you can't fix everything and expect for it to be the same, yet you are so much more than what you are portraying to the world. A lot of people are portraying to the world that they're broken in some sense, especially those, in this little wave that I'm speaking of. Or, they're broken in a sense when it comes to the people around them. But there is nothing to fix. We are perfect. And with that being said, what's being healed with this energy is the balancing of masculine energies, the masculine and feminine, especially the masculine. The masculine energy is rising up. The wounded masculine, who needs the wounded masculine, who needs to control, who's powerful, who's dominant, who's assertive. They can finally, or we could say the meaning the masculine collective, or we could say even the masculinity within us, because a lot of people with this masculine energy, especially that the world is like throwing on us, masculine energies are believed to be the ones to fix, knows what to do. Masculine energy satisfies, and it makes sure that, all things are well. The masculine is someone that you look up to as a protector, who's powerful, who can make things happen. And this is a balancing of, or this is this is very damaging to the masculine. Because the masculine is suffering more than the feminine at this particular time. And because of that, there's a disconnect of being one's true self because of huge pressure from society. Having to do, having to fix, having to be, always building, trying to be better. So, this energy is coming into balance now. This wounded masculine energy is being healed through this partial solar eclipse. And even, the new moon in Cancer. Because, Cancer is a sign of, it's a water sign first and foremost. And, there you go with the emotional aspect. Water deals with emotions. And because of this eclipse energy, just thinking logically, this pulls on the oceans. This pulls on bodies of water. So this is very intense energy. That's where this high tidal wave of energies is coming. Like these high or intense highs and lows. These intense ups and downs. So, everything is coming up very intensely just to be released. And, this energy, this balancing of the masculine energy, at this present time, it can't fully be its authentic self because of the huge pressure of, being the leader or, not seeing it as an equal opportunity for both masculine and feminine. It's, we're looking up to the masculine. We look up to men. So, this is releasing the need to not be your true authentic self, especially in the masculine aspect. There is a vulnerability that's coming in to be replaced with the active self. The feminine energy is coming in now to be more nurturing towards that masculine energy, healing that masculine energy, taking a lead, or I wouldn't say the lead, but taking a role to come through, to be more nurturing, to be more creative, to be more what's really coming up is the creative aspects and the nurturing aspects, especially for myself, because I notice myself, wanting to be more open to trying different things and being more creative, sharing those creative abilities even with my children, and in that sense being more nurturing. So that's exactly what this energy is creating. It's creating a balancing of the energies. Like, you don't always have to feel like you have to fix something because everything is perfect. It just, you have to allow now. And the masculine energy, with the self-acceptance, it's allowing a healing to take place. I noticed with myself, I've been in a state of going through several issues at once and trying to fix it, you know, still, you know, with these issues going on, you know, not never once accepting it, like, hey, this is where I am, you know, and it's okay. I never told myself that it was okay because of society. I've always felt like, oh, it's not good enough, and, you know, I'm not good enough. I have to keep on trying. I have to keep on doing. I have to keep on striving to be better. Regardless of if I keep hitting a brick wall, I'm going to keep trying because, you know, I'm not living up to my potential, you know, and Spirit had to tell me, look, you're not living your experience. You're not experiencing the moment. You're not experiencing this because this is meant to be experienced as well. You know, you're trying to do just experience. So you know, that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had to really accept the fact I am where I am. I'm where I am for a reason, and it's okay to be where I am. I need to stop being so hard on myself. You know, in all honesty, certain things that, you know, I can't change at the moment. And certain things in a sense has, I wouldn't say has prevented me, but, you know, the way that things are set up, you know, it's all for a reason, because I'm, you know, trying to seek validation from those things that I really desperately want, especially when it comes to work. So I realized where I am, and I, you know, told myself it's okay. I don't have to be so hard on myself, you know. It's okay, you know. Be more understanding, you know. These are the things that you are going through, you know. For you to even feel the way that you feel on an emotional level, you know, you've been through quite a lot, and that's where this broken state comes in, you know. Realizing that, you know, hey, you know, I you know, certain things may have broke me, you know, and I accepted this. But with that acceptance, there also comes an epiphany of, you know, it's okay. These things happen for a reason. You know, I'm not broken. I have the ability to change, you know, the things that I can. So with the balancing of these energies, you know, I feel like with everything that's coming into play right now, what's being ushered in, what did I say? Okay, this energy is ushering in or reclaiming sacred aspects of the masculine energy, where it can be unique and encouraged, supported and listened to, and vulnerable as well. So this is coming home to self. Like I said, you know, in the sign of Cancer, has to do with home, coming home, or, you know, home, like being homely, whatever. And being that, you know, these issues of undervaluing ourselves, anything that does with self, like the self-love, the self-acceptance, you know, all of this is coming up to be healed, and we are coming home to self. And with that coming home to self is also ushering in heaven on earth. Once you can make peace within, you'll have peace without or outside of you. So like I said, this reflection, we're noticing the reflection. This is the key to changing your reflection, you know, making peace with certain aspects of yourself, your shadow side, like everything. I know, like, the way that I explain things, it comes through choppy, but it makes sense, especially like if you like hear it, you know, more than once, like, you know, you kind of can connect the dots if I'm not being so clear, because I almost feel like sometimes I'm not clear when I make points. And that's something that, maybe only a few are to understand what I'm saying. Like I said, this message isn't for everyone. So with the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies, this is making you more whole, making you more true to yourself, making you more authentic. And once you are whole within, your outside is going to be, your reflection is going to be whole. So this is like all the energy that's brewing at this particular moment with this eclipse and this new moon. So what's being eclipsed out is the insecurity, to feel more at home with self, I feel. And it's integrating more of a unity consciousness, meaning the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies. And like I said, what goes on within is also without. So let's just bring this back into my twin flames or divine partners. There's a balancing that's taking place between the masculine, the divine masculine, and the divine feminine. I feel like there has been some questions with that as well, some uncertainties with some twin flames. There may have been issues between twin flames, but I feel like this energy is now coming into balance and unity is taking place now. There's an integrating that's taking place. I know I'm probably like skipping points here because I actually have to pause, step away for a second. But there's more compassion also with this astrological makeup. Compassion for self, and then there's going to be compassion for twin flames. There's going to be a compassion that takes place between twin flames. Your mirror aspect. So just be compassionate with yourself at this time. We are being granted that grace to be compassionate, especially towards self. And like I said, what goes on within also goes on without, and as above, so below. So I think that's pretty much it. Kind of like wrap it up. One of the notes that I took last night was this new moon partial solar eclipse is offering a auric field cleansing because of the water is being washed clean. If you're open to receive it, and know that when you heal yourself, you also heal those around you. I'm gonna have to do a video after this or sometime soon about timeline jumping, actually share my experiences with that timeline jumping, because we hear about that type of stuff in the spiritual communities, conscious communities, those who are aware of their ascension, but some people have been aware of it actually happening, and this can be experienced through the Mandela effect. And a lot may have experienced that on a mass consciousness type of aspect, but I would like to share my experiences with that, because this evolving thing, it is getting freaky. It's getting tricky. I ain't gonna say tricky, but it's like, this stuff is crazy. This stuff is crazy for real. So, okay, that is all. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to put it out there that I do offer readings, personalized video readings. I took a break from that for a while, and with this healing energy that's coming through, I'm almost feeling I ain't gonna say back to myself, but back to that creative passion. So I offer readings at this particular time. Readings are $15 donation if you would like to book a reading with me, especially twin flame type of readings, or towards your spiritual journey, anything in regards to your spiritual journey. Contact me. The information is below. Please also check out my Facebook page, The Modern Day Sage, and also Good Vibes. Okay, so until next time, love and light.